out here with my cats, somewhat distracting me. One over here. And over on my table here, I gotta show you there's my Isabella. She's watching. And today I got something really great for my Lumix users, my L-mount users. Something we've been waiting a while for, or at least some of us who are into macro. And what we have is Viltrox, hopefully it'll focus on that, has come out with a macro extension tube set. I won't bother doing an unboxing. Here are the tubes. Hopefully it is in focus. I don't want to get it too close to the camera. I am filming on my Lumix 35mm. Birds chirping in the background. That is a blue jay. I put peanuts out for them. So they're very happy this morning, as well as the sparrows. Okay, so here is our tubes. And essentially it is a standard set. It comes with a 12mm tube and a 24mm tube. And of course you can put them together. They are amazingly light. They're definitely metal, but I would assume that they're aluminum or something. Let's see if you can see inside. We have all the contacts. Extension tubes are a very simple thing. They're basically just tube, but you need to put some light dampening in there so that you don't get any reflections and things, and all of that seems to be fairly well done from what I can see. So essentially they seem to be a really nice set of tubes. Super light, super light. I'll put down the weight. I'll sit there and weigh them and find out. Got your little tab here so that you can get it on and off lenses. They're pretty good. They're one's a little bit tight with my lenses. The other one's just about typical of my Lumix lenses. So no complaints there. Again, I think the quality is good. Let you see what you can from there. So basics is it's basically an empty tube, but it has the contacts. It does focus fine. What I'm going to do is show you some tests that I did, basically to give you an idea, because one of the things, the reasons I was looking for these tubes is particularly the 85mm isn't particularly close focusing. So it's nice to be able to put tubes on it. And one of my lenses, my zoom lens, the 100 to 300, is that what it is? 100 to 400? 100 to 400 lens. So getting old, mine's going. It doesn't do very well close focusing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show it to you today, basically on your standard Lumix lenses. I'm going to show it to you on the 85, I'm going to show it to you on the 50, and I'm going to show it to you on the 35. I'm not going to bother to go with the 24 because that just goes. And it's cold and I have allergies, so my eyes are watering. So further ado, let's go to the pictures and let's review them. Pretty much I'm going to say I got no complaints. I have not done any flat field stuff. I basically look to Marvin here and a little camera. So I was supposed to give you a good idea of size. These are our targets, and that's what we're going to look at. And we're going to look at it from the perspective of how close the lens can go without it. I got like birds doing crazy stuff here. We're going to look at it, how it focuses, or how close it focuses. And essentially, I did this as manual focusing. Automatic focusing works great, but I wanted to show you the minimum focusing. So I did one with the lens by itself, as close as it could natively get. Then I put on the 12 millimeter tube, the smaller of the two. Let me go ahead and so you can see 12 millimeters, very thin. Then we have the 24. So what I did is first I put on the 12 and I showed what it would do with the 12. Then I put on the 24, the bigger one, to show how close you could get with that. And then I put them both together to show how close you could get with them together. And then I also showed with this tube, the 12 millimeter tube, what your infinity focus is, because that's one of the problems with putting a tube on a regular lens, amongst other things. But one of the problems is that you lose infinity focus. So it's not really good if you're like, you're in there, you're taking a picture of a bug or whatever, and then some thing appears right in front of you that's going to be the greatest picture in the world, but it's 3 feet away. Forget it, you're not going to be able to take a picture. That's where having the tube on a zoom lens will be better, and I'll show you that in a separate video, how zoom lenses work with extension tubes. If you heard that meow, that's because I have one of my cats over here who is looking at me, and she's cold and she wants me to hold her. And I don't particularly want to do that. So let's go to the pictures. What we're looking at here is, this is the 85 millimeter lens at its closest native focusing distance. So basically, with all of these, even though autofocus works absolutely fine, no problems at all, I'm using manual focus because I'm trying to get the absolute closest native and then the closest with each one of the tubes. It also works fine with the auto exposure because although I'm setting the aperture and the speed, I'm letting the ISO go to wherever the ISO feels it needs to. So it is being auto exposed through the camera. Okay, so there is the 85 millimeter at the closest native focusing distance. Now when we go to this one, this is the 85 millimeter with the 12 millimeter tube. So we're finally filling up that screen with our two objects. Now for a reference, I've also put in, this is if I move to infinity focus. And as you can see, I'm not getting that far away anymore. I'm probably maybe around 2 feet away, if that. And that's what infinity focus turns into with the macro tube on it. So that is that kind of double-edged sword. You get to close, you get the focus close, but you will not be able to get far away, and you lose that infinity focus. So contrary to a true macro lens, which is designed so that you can still get infinity focus and get close focusing. So that's kind of your trade-offs. And the next picture, this is the 24 millimeter tube on the 85. And again, you can see the depth of field is getting very, very thin. I probably should have used something besides f4. I probably should have taken at least to f8 or maybe even down further. That's why in a lot of macro photography, people will stack images and basically take several images at different focus points and then stack them together to get a sharply focused image. And go to the next one. This is now the 85 millimeter with both the 12 and the 24 millimeter stacked at the same time. So you can see you can now get pretty close with that 85. And if you were trying to take pictures of a lot of insects, butterflies, you can get in there pretty good. And now we're going to go to the 50 millimeter lens. Again, this is the native close focusing. It focuses much closer than the 85 would allow us to. And then we're going to go to the 50 millimeter with the 12 millimeter on. So now you can already see that we're getting a closer to our object. So we're getting a bigger blow up of our object. And again, for reference, I moved the lens to infinity focus and then went back and showed you just how much you're going to be able to get in at infinity focus. So autofocusing and everything works fine, but you're going to have a very limited range that you can focus in. And here is the 24 millimeter tube. So that was the 12. This is the 24, so you can see we've gotten closer. And then this is the 12 and 24 stacked on the 50 millimeter. And again, we're dealing with a razor thin focus range, so probably really need to stop that down more. Okay, now we're going to go to the 35 millimeter. Again, we're at f4. This is the 35 millimeters native close focusing, and you can see we can get a lot closer with the 35 millimeter lens natively by itself. In fact, I had to take the lens hood off in order to get close enough to take the picture. And then here is the 35 with the 12 millimeter, and you can see you're seeing my own shadow in there because the sun was behind me. So if you were doing this, you would have to do lighting that would be able to get light close to the lens, in front of the lens, in order to be able to do these. But I wanted you to understand the magnification that you're getting. And this is just the 12 millimeter. And I only did the 12 millimeter because you can already see we're really close and we're at the point that we need to do specialized lighting. And just again for reference, I put it in infinity focus, and at infinity, this is going to be the best you get. It looks like my focus point might have been a little forward. Because again, I was just moving in and out physically to try to focus. So that gives you an idea. Let me go ahead and show you each one of these lenses again at their native. So here we go. We have the 85 up here. This is as close as it natively can get. This is as close as the 50 millimeter natively can get. This is as close as the 35. So again, it really shows you that as your focal length gets smaller, the lens design's letting you get closer focusing. And again, just looking at one tube, there's the 85 with the 12 millimeter. There is the 50, and there is the 35. So again, you can see just how much more magnification you can get from smaller focal lengths. Okay, so there you go. Like I said, I'm happy. They're extension tubes. They're simple devices. But they do the job, and they seem to be of a decent build. And you saw the pictures to give you an idea of what you can get from them. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe. I've become a little more free in my schedule, so I'm going to be doing a lot more videos I'd like to make a run of this, and hopefully you can help me out with that. So the more people subscribe, the more I can do. Talk to you later. Bye.